Hi and welcome. Cami Baker here with the Alliance for Charitable Real Estate on Unity Radio 97.9 FM. We are also live streamed on WUTY979FM.org, and you can watch us on Facebook. And I am super excited, as I always am, when I have guests that really make an impact and make a difference in the world. Today I'm speaking with David Anderson, who is one of the nonprofits, one of the many nonprofit organizations that have worked with Realty Gift Fund, which are our secret sauce at the Alliance in how charitable gifting of real estate is facilitated. And just want to introduce David and hear a little bit about his nonprofit, how the funds benefited them, and just your whole experience. David, please introduce yourself to our tribe.
Thank you, Cami. Good morning. And I'm David Anderson, the director at the Colorado Natural Heritage Program.
Colorado Natural Heritage Program. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
Sure. We're in Colorado. We're part of Colorado State University, and we are the entity that keeps track of where Colorado's rare species and plant communities are located throughout the state. We also do a lot of work with wetlands, and we are supporting private lands conservation with a lot of different services. And one really important service there is a thing called CoMap, which is a map of where all of the private conservation lands are in Colorado, as well as all of the other conservation lands. So it's a one place, a one-stop shop for where people can go to know who owns land and what kind of conservation values are going on there.
You know, it's so amazing, all of the different aspects of life that make the world go round, and people like yourself that are helping to keep our planet, in good condition, which actually leads us to why we're on this interview. There was a gentleman there in your area that had donated some cash, and I'd love for you to tell our folks what the cash did and why did he decide to donate a piece of real estate to help your nonprofit?
Yeah. Our donor, Bob Tate, is a wonderful, generous person. And he's really a visionary person. He's been really passionate about solving the problems that land trusts are facing in Colorado. And he saw a long time ago how important it was for us to have a good map of where conservation easements are. And he knew what a valuable tool that was for the whole land trust community, because it gives them the ability to demonstrate how important their lands are for conservation and how they're connected to other conservation lands. So Bob decided a few years ago to give us a cash gift to help our program get that map in really good shape. And with his gift, we got all of the private conservation easements into the map so that it was completely current and showed all of the different land trusts' conservation portfolios.
You know, we go online and we click on the maps and the search engines and this, that, and the other thing. And I personally can say I take that for granted, that they're just there and that somebody did it and somebody paid for it, but it's not free. So he saw the need and he gave you the cash for that. So moving forward, what did he hear that you had a need for, and why did the property come into play?
Well, yeah, and that's one of the wonderful things about Bob is he knows that, data aren't free to curate and to put together and to take care of, and that business of doing that is really unsexy. Like but he's been willing to fund that, and he understands the impact that makes. So after getting CoMap completely up to date with his first gift, we began working with a lot of different partners, most importantly NatureServe, who is the global nonprofit that we are a member of as a heritage program, that has created a tool called the Environmental Review Tool. And we're standing that tool up in Colorado with some special bells and whistles on it. The most important one is that it's going to have a tool in it that helps landowners and land trusts assess the value of their property once it has a conservation easement on it. And we're working with a professor, Andy Seidel at CSU, to develop the algorithms that are going to calculate that post-easement valuation of all of these properties that land trusts are helping to put easements on when the landowners choose to do that. And so we're standing up this tool with this special mechanism in it to calculate these alternative valuations. And Bob knew that COMAP was really the core of our ability to make those calculations, and that this was the best possible way to get COMAP out to the world where people could use it. So his gift of real estate through the Realty Gift Fund is what has gotten us off of the launch pad. We are now developing that tool. We even have a beta version of it out there that we're testing and getting to work right. And this year, we're going to launch that tool into the world for the Colorado conservation community to use.
Yeah, I really love this interview and bringing to light your nonprofit and your cause, because, you know, so often we talk about the homeless and the hungry and the kids and the animals and the veterans and so many things that globally are like, okay, yeah, we need to help our veterans. But there's 1.6 million nonprofits, 1.6 million nonprofits in this country. And there's all these different things that people want to support, are supporting, can donate property to support, etc. On our second segment, we'll get a little bit more into Realty Gift Fund and how the whole transaction went down. I have another question though. You talk about conservation land, and what I want our viewers to hear is that 99% of the real estate that is donated to a nonprofit is not for them to keep, because nonprofits are not landlords or management. However, I have heard that there has been quite a bit of land that has been conservation land that has been donated. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah. Are you asking about sort of the donation of conservation easements to through land trusts?
Yes, I talked to an expert in Myrtle Beach who talked about, you know, the what you just said. Yes.
Yeah. It's you know, so much of Colorado is privately owned, and those private lands are some of the most important and best lands for conservation in the state. And when you think about it, the people who came to settle Colorado early on went straight to the places where there was lots of water, there was good, you know, flat valley bottoms, and good soil and things like that. And so later, our public lands got set up in places where there was less of those kind of resources. So a lot of times the private lands are some of the very best and most important lands in the state. And they also connect different conserved places too, and are the places where often right around our communities, where those are the first places that people see or can go. So they create, they deliver a lot of benefits from nature to those communities through cleaner water, fresh air, beautiful views, and having nature close to us. So the privately conserved lands that are conserved through conservation easements are super important for everybody. And so a lot of landowners who want to preserve the working lands legacy of their lands decide to do conservation easements because it's a tool that enables them to continue ranching or farming on their land while still owning the land as a private landowner, but giving up the rights for that land to ever be developed. And by doing that, they lower their property taxes and make it possible for themselves and their heirs and everyone who lives on the land after that to maintain it as a ranch and as working lands.
You know, see, once again, both reasons, when people donate property, whether it's the easement or whether it's the actual property itself to be sold and cashed out to help the nonprofit, either way, they do it for two reasons. One is because they're a good person. Like you just said, they want to nurture the land and love the land and be a part of the land. And then also, even those folks with the conservation land or the rights, they got tax benefits as well. So when we come
Yep.
back from break, we'll get into exactly how this property was donated, the fact that it wasn't a piece of property that you ever took possession of. You never had any financial commitment or risk involved. But Bob got the tax benefits and you got the cash. So this is Cami Baker. We are on Alliance for Charitable Real Estate on Unity Radio, Worcester's Community Connection, 97.9 FM. If you are a real estate professional or a property owner or a nonprofit who wants to learn how you can get involved in the charitable gifting of real estate, our goal is to have $1 billion of real estate donated to nonprofits worldwide by 2025. We'll be right back from this break and hear a little bit more about the details of how this transaction went down. Be right back.